Hey everyone, this is a review of the Zylog, Sibear, Dread, Hate and Despair IncarnONs, and the frames they synergize well with the mod configs, loadouts, augments, abilities, and so on. So first up, Zylok combos super well with Mesa for two reasons. The first is as a killing machine in itself, where we will spawn an Eximus to show what I mean. So just normal damage on normal enemies in its normal mode, pretty solid. It does slash damage, you can kill with its duplex fire as you're seeing, right? Once we shoot the Eximus in the head with the actual gun though, we start getting this buff, Eximus advantage, which gives us 600% more damage. Now, not only is that useful for the gun itself, but it's really useful for Mesa, because the 600% applies to Mesa's Peacemakers, as I will show you right now. Before that, we will buff the crap out of our damage with the Ceramic Dagger as well. Get a full 12 times combo multiplier, give the old Eximus a headshot, and kaboom, whole group is deaderino. Also combos very well with Ballistic Bullseye. You activate that before going into Peacemakers, and then you activate it a second time. It's Mesa's first ability augment, and you get 88% more crit chance, plus up to 10k damage or more on your next shot. So let me just show you that final little display of Zylok. Go for a headshot, kaboom, right? Almost one-shot the Eximus without even having secondary outburst active. Let's see if we can res ourselves real quick. Hopefully we can. Yep. Wasn't a perfect run, but you have to roll with the punches. So that's the power of the Zylok. It buffs the hell out of Mesa. Here's the evolutions real quick. Zylok Prime IncarnON. Molder's Magazine gives you up to 200% more critical damage multiplier. It's more than you can see on the screen here because it's base critical damage multiplier. Rapid Reinforcement gives you very fast IncarnON transformations and reloads. And Survivor's Edge is the one you're going to want to go for because hybrid crit and status with slash and viral just kill things super fast, even outside of IncarnON form. Very fun little gun. Yeah, that's all I can really say about it. And the evolutions. Here's the secondary outburst. Mesa build, basically, Eximus advantage is the main thing here. You don't, strictly speaking, need IncarnON mode to make it a stat stick for Mesa. You could just have these two, but it's nice for it to be a killing machine even without that. So, yeah, not too much to say about it. Lethal Momentum is the Madurai polarity, and that's the one this Exilus naturally comes with. Projectile speed increases your range. The duplex trigger, if you hold down the trigger with Zylok, it fires one shot, and when you release, fires another. Like the Sanctity Tigress. It's like a mini Tigress, right? Roar. So let's move on to the Sibear. Wrath. We have it on our Wrathful Excalibur. Also a very underrated hammer, very underrated IncarnON. Absolutely flattens enemies. Let's make sure we're using the right build. It looks pretty cool. Yep. Melee influence, viral. You can also use it with like corrosive and electric, probably even better than this. But I was using it with an armor strip build and it absolutely wrecks. Ooh, these are some spicy enemies we've chosen. No matter, we'll res ourselves, blind them, and kaboom. Really just want to display the Sibear's power. Like, it's just wrecking these enemies, right? Very high level. And a diverse battle group. 19 million yellow crit for some reason. I've seen it do 100 million red crit today. So that's unbuffed. Let's show you what it's capable of buffed. 1, 2, 3. Please live. Okay. Yeah. Enemies just die. They can't even sustain a full combo because melee influence procs, and I'll show you why it procs so insanely much. We're using a Weeping Wounds build with Sibear and Blood Rush, which makes melee influence go through the roof. So people think like, okay, melee influence is proccing the status. It's not just proccing the status, it's proccing the damage. And when you hit enemies in a group in range of each other, they all trigger each other. So like instead of 1 times 20, it's 20 times 20. Heavy slam attacks also give us a huge amount of extra status, which is then multiplied by Weeping Wounds. So that's the build for Sibear. Let's now look at Dread, Hate, and Despair, and why the Zaku Subsume is going to be the one that you want to go for. It's totally nuts. We'll start with the Dread and Despair, finish off with the Hate, which in my opinion is actually the strongest IncarnON of this week and the one you'll want to use in general use. Sibear is kind of a close second. Zylok with Mesa I'd place third, and fourth Dread, fifth Despair. All of them are really strong if you know how to use them, but yeah, a lot of the time people just don't really know how to use them. So it's really nice how finishers now like show you where to aim basically. I mean like blind shows you where to aim because it primes enemies for finishers. So this is just Dread in its normal mode, right? And in IncarnON mode, I mean just doing some decent damage, some nice little red crits. We actually set up the build for gas, so you're seeing black gas clouds, slash, and radiation. The reason we did that is that we had Nautilus grouping enemies up together, and we had someone armor stripping. It was giving us millions and millions, tens of millions of DPS. We'll actually switch to more of a realistic solo build with Viral. So Viral and Slash instead of Toxin and Gas, or Gas and Radiation. Yeah. So this build is great for general use, and even if you don't have this Subsume, it's a decent bow. It's not really like on the level of Nataruk or other bows, but once you activate this ability, right? This one ability makes all the difference. Look at that. So you might be wondering, okay, what the hell is going on? That ability that we just triggered, right? Ciarath's Whisper makes it so that our bow and its infinite punch through strikes the enemy so many times that they just get wrecked. It's really that simple. Like, it's still hitting him. What the hell? And if you're lucky enough to get a headshot, they'll definitely die. Like, they can be really high level, really highly armored, but they are going to die. And that's the niche for Dread that I've discovered. I'm sure there's a few more niches, but that's one really good niche that you can use. Let's try and group up some enemies. Try and really group them up. Come on, Nautilus, we need you. Oh my god, the Eximus is just one-shotting us. And enemies aren't grouped up. Can we res ourselves? Probably not. Gonna die here. Yep, nope. Enemies aren't grouped up together enough. Okay, no problem. Just res ourselves like this. So what I want to show you with the Dread when the enemies group up, right? Let's actually kill the Eximus because it's stopping our grouping from happening. Respawn some other mobs. One shot allowed us to fully charge the Dread. Okay, so here we go. Look at that. It's just killing them. So that's the niche for Dread that I would recommend. Get yourself either a Mag Bubble or Ciarath's Whisper for any frame, and you're off to the races. it keeps reprocking over and over again with slash and heat to the point it just kills everything. Let's move on to Despair after doing a brief overview of the evolutions, Hitman's Opportunity to Execute, or the Dread and Despair Hate set piece to speed up the way in which you fire shots. Not really that amazing. This one might even be better if you do the maths. Here's the build. I already briefly showed it. Hammer shot, point strike. This Riven needs re-rolling. Galvanized scope for those sweet red crits once you get a few headshot kills. Primary deadhead. Yeah. Can be buffed. Can be raised to new and higher heights. Like I said, let's move on to the Despair. Gun condition overload, evolution, reload speed, and flat crit damage. You can also make a heat build out of this. I just went for it as a kind of trickster build with radiation and a primer with stunning and extra damage through viral. It can still kill. Very high level enemies, even on its own, especially if you put Ciarath's Whisper onto it. So, charges really quickly. All you need is like 1 or 2 headshots. Of course, you're not going to want to be behind the enemies, especially if they're Grineer, or they won't charge up. One thing with this is you want some form of primed sure-footed, so either Unairu or primed sure-footed itself, status immunity, to not be affected by the knockback, right? Because the explosions knock you down, knock you over, knock you back. So be in the air or be far away. Yeah. Really nice little throwing weapon. In my opinion, kunai is kind of better. But business opportunity, buy Rivens for the Despair and the Hate right now. They're super cheap and they're gonna drop 10 times more often once the June update with Jade Shadows comes over. That's what they said in the dev stream. So here's how fast it can kill without even going into its evolution. And if you put like secondary outburst and the ceramic dagger combo on, it can crit for tens of millions as well, ultimately. Especially if you armor strip. Could use Latron Prime IncarnON with flensing spikes to armor strip and kill. Yeah. It can be used generally more, but less for single target and like extremely high level enemies. Still very, very good. Last but not least, actually the most powerful of the week, and you will just see why. The Hate Scythe is ridiculously strong. Also has very, very cool animations. With this build that I've gone for, you do need to wind up to 12 times combo, but that happens super quickly. Because it has 100% plus combo charge. So you see there, even on just a single target, we charge it really fast. On a group, it's almost instant. Almost instant 12 times. That's only 3 targets. And now you're going to witness like what makes Hate overpowered. I'd say it's even more powerful than Sibear, even though Sibear can probably break some world records somehow. So let me show you what makes Hate unique, and then we will end this video. Now that it's in its IncarnON form, we're actually hitting them from a distance with its projectiles. And with Ciarath's Whisper, you're hitting like twice with that. If you're in melee range, you're hitting 4 times. Alright, so that's why, even if you're just light attack spamming, everything's dead and your whole screen is filled with damage numbers. All we have here is like Arcane Strike and Ciarath's Whisper. Don't even know what that was. Synth Fiber. Okay, just a pet buff. Yeah, so that about concludes the review. Hope you enjoyed watching. I would say get these IncarnONs, all of them. They're really fun and really, really good. Yeah, and Hate also combos well with Necros, just like Despair and the Zylok do, or not Despair, just like the Dread with its slash damage, and Zylok, because slash splits enemies in two, and Desecrate from Necros then grants you extra loot. So that's another little niche with these weapons. Hope you learned a lot, and let me know in the comments what you thought of this. And if you have any other video requests, I will get around to them. And I'm working on a video for Orphix, video for Kella the Thame, and not Profit Taker, Exploiter Orb. So those are coming soon. Thanks for watching.